we have to hit and run on you. I just flew in from Denver, where one of our daughters lives with two of our grandkids, and wanted very much to be here, obviously. But Ann Hawley ran the State Council on the Arts, now the Massachusetts Cultural Council, for me when I was governor for 8 years, and then took over the Gardner Museum, and will be retiring at the end of this year after 24 years of running the Gardner and doing incredible work there. So we've got to hit and run and get down there and be part of that. But let me just say just a couple of things. First, what a pleasure it is to be here. We are just blessed with these two fabulous people and these. Where are the twins? Where are they? We've got 12 grandkids plus 2. And to get to know and really love Paul and Sophia and the girls. And secondly, the genesis of this effort is really very close to us, because Kitty was pregnant with our first baby back in 1964. And that was the last of the great rubella epidemics in this state, German measles. Kitty and her mother were quite sure that she had had it as a kid. She had no symptoms. And she was in her 8th month when things began complicating that pregnancy. And that little girl was born without a brainstem, folks. And of course never survived. So we know what this is all about. And yet at the same time, it's interesting. You know, it's out of tragedy that things happen in many, many ways. And I don't have to tell you how strongly we feel about what you're doing here. Thanks for the thanks, but frankly, the thanks are ours. Because we've been able to live a life of service which has been maybe better for us than people we're serving. There was one slight, I was going to say hiccup, it was a little worse than that in 1988 when I wasn't able to win the presidency. Without being sounding partisan in any way, I usually apologize to people for that, because as I say to them, if I had beaten Bush 1, you'd have never heard of Bush 2. We may not be hearing much more of Bush 3. In any event, blame me. But I just want to say to the young people here, and remember, you know, my dad got off the boat. He went to Manchester, Lawrence, and then settled in Lowell. And my mother, at the age of 9, came here a year afterwards. They didn't know each other, obviously. She was 9, and her family settled in Haverhill. So we kind of know the Merrimack Valley, and know all about it, know what it was, what happened to it, and now I'd like to think the work we've been doing to try to bring it back. But there's nothing like public service, kids. Let me tell you. One of the reasons I teach these days is because I want to encourage as many people, young people as possible, to think seriously about public service. And I include politics in that. If you really want to make a difference, you've got to get deeply and actively involved in the politics of your community, state, and country. It's as simple as that. You can't kind of walk away from that. And one of the great things about this is that it begins to introduce you, at least, to this kind of public service. So as you're beginning to grow and develop, if you think you're interested in politics, come see me. Because I think, for the most part, I can be helpful. And I happen to marry a woman who's going to be 79 in December. I'm not sure she likes this, but I introduce her always as the best-looking Medicare recipient in the United States. And I think we were talking politics our first date, so as you're thinking about who your partner is going to be, if you want to get into public service, one of the things you want to do is make sure that he or she understands what this stuff is all about. But we've had a great life, folks, and it's the people of this state that made it possible. So we're with you, and I hope we can make a contribution as well. But at the same time, just keep doing what you're doing, because you're striking sparks in these young people, and I hope and expect that they will be doing great things and living lives of service. Because if you're not doing that, then who was it? Winston Churchill once said, when they finally put you away, they're not going to ask what did you make, they're going to ask what did you give. And I think that's very important. And even, sorry to run on you, but David and the Gardner. And thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.